Hi, I want to talk to you today about the Libra Full Moon. The Libra Full Moon culminates to ripeness on March 28th at 2:48 p.m. Eastern Time. Adjust for your time zones. The Libra Full Moon always arises around the time of Aries season, sometime within Aries season. We're in Aries season right now. We also got Venus in Aries, and Aries season is all about activating that impulse to seize life. It's all about taking a chance, living in the moment. You do you and do it now. And that's Aries season. But the Libra full moon is always the lunation that kind of provides that counterbalance to Aries season, the necessary perspective we need to remember that, like, you can't just go rogue all the time. No person is an island. We are human beings. We need each other. We are relationship-oriented creatures. Like, we are social, and our relationships are just as vital to our health as anything else. Libra, it really represents cohesion and harmony and balance. You know, everyone has a voice, everyone has a say, and it's not about outshining other people. It's about creating harmony and relating to one another. And the interesting thing is, well, Libra is also a sign of social justice. Libra is the scales of justice. And we talk about these Libran concepts of balance and fairness and equality. It very much meets that criteria of social justice, very much. And the interesting thing is with this full moon is that Libra is ruled by Venus. And Venus is usually trying to get everyone to get along. It's all about cohesion and what's the word I'm looking for? Like enveloping, and it's inviting, and it's warm. But it's in fiery Aries right now with the sun. And so it's almost as if in order to have these things like peace and harmony, we got to get loud. We got to stand up and take a stand against things that are wrong in our society. And this chart just tells me that there's a lot of tension. We have Mars conjunct the North Node. I did not do a video on that because I was thinking I don't want to just make something totally negative. Because Mars conjunct the North Node is a very contentious aspect that often corresponds with violence and outbursts and just a lot of like destruction, basically, that we see around that. And I'm already seeing it in the news. And even when that aspect started to get tighter, I was already seeing it with the shootings in Georgia. And now we're just seeing them again all over, all the time. And yeah, the sun and Venus are just coming out of Cazimi, that beautiful Cazimi period where we had a renewal. But right now, Venus is actually combust again. So the ability to create harmony and peace is actually impeded now in this full moon chart. Additionally, Venus conjoins Chiron. Venus and the sun conjoin Chiron, kind of right in the middle of that sun and Venus conjunction. And Chiron deals with the wound. And Chiron in Aries deals with the wound of the individual, the burden of the individual. When we talk about Chiron, we talk about the wound. It just seems like one of those run-of-the-mill keywords we use to associate with Chiron. But truthfully, Chiron is like the cross that we bear. It is that wound, that experience that never really heals. It never really closes all the way. You could do so much healing work, so much healing work, and it's always kind of still there. And it's kind of once you get further along in your Chiron healing journey, you kind of get this sense of perspective where you're continuously learning from this wound, so that there is a definite silver lining with the Chiron work, is that we're able to learn from the pain, we're able to learn from the hardship, we're able to learn, in the case of this chart, hopefully learn from injustice. And I just think that this chart, even though the last lunation we had was so beautiful. We've just had so many of these difficult lunation charts lately. And I think that this one kind of falls into that category of there's all these overtones of healing. And, we're coming out of a collective pandemic. I think we're coming out of it. And there's so much grief and things that we need to process. And additionally, like all this hatred and inequality and discrimination and racism and all these things that we need to work on collectively, continue to work on. And we're having kind of another wave of that conversation right now, specifically around the lives of Asians and Asian Americans. And so I see this full moon chart as being another really important turning point, another really important kind of spike on our journey in order to bring about more Libran concepts into our society, or at least on an individual level. Because, these full moons, they can show up for us just personally as well in our minds and on our hearts. So on this Libra full moon, what do you need to do to bring more balance into your life? What can you do to be an agent of change? What can you do to make some noise, to create a little bit of discomfort in order to make your plea for peace, your plea for equality heard? How can you get more involved? How can you stand up a lot more strongly for our allies on this planet? How can you be an ally? Come on. So yeah, we all have our individual sovereignty with Aries, but we have this duty to also show up for one another, to get each other's back, to catch each other when we fall. This full moon could also be bringing up a lot of themes around relationship, cooperation, how we harmonize with one another. And so there could be a lot of relationship themes coming up for you as well on this full moon. But overall, I hope this full moon is super juicy for you. I hope you get all these beautiful full moon insights to help you go off and live your best life. And that is your slightly extended lunation astrology shot of the day. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. To learn about other ways that you can bring astrology into your world, you can visit me at my website where you can also book your reading or connect with me on socials at AstroCatherine.